The Jews' story of 40 decapitated babies by Hamas is a replay of the 1991 Gulf War Kuwaiti girl lying about witnessing Iraqi soldiers ripping babies from incubators. The story was walked back when it was disclosed the girl was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to Washington, yet she'd not left Washington to witness the lie she was peddling.
To get Americans, perhaps any people, to support a war in a place millions barely heard of, certain buttons must be pressed. In the run-up to the Gulf War, one image, one presence touched American hearts and minds like no other.
My name is Naira, and I just came out of Kuwait. While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
Thrown out of the incubators.
President Bush repeated the incubator story at least 10 times in the following weeks.
Babies pulled from incubators and scattered like firewood across the floor.
It had presidential confirmation and the confirmation of Amnesty International. Then, a rather embarrassed Amnesty retracted its report. In London, spokesman Sean Stiles said, as hard as they tried, they could not confirm it.
We spoke to well over a dozen doctors of different nationalities who had been in Kuwait at the time, and they couldn't stand the story up, and it became quite clear to us that credible medical opinion was that this didn't happen.
If it didn't happen, where did the story come from? We can't answer that. We can tell you about Naira. She was no ordinary witness. She's a member of the Kuwaiti royal family, related to the Emir of Kuwait. And when she testified, her father was sitting close by. He's Sheikh Saud Nasir al-Sabah, Kuwait's ambassador to the United States. Naira lives with her family in Washington, D.C.
Israel's military has now also walked back its 40 decapitated dead babies story. It never happened. So what other lies are they telling? Lying is a grave miscalculation on the part of the media shills and Israelis. They don't understand that they are destroying their own credibility and, more importantly, the moral capital they've pity parlayed through the tired Holocaust narrative, which increasingly people aren't buying anymore. The Jews have overplayed their hand, creating an enormous reaction to the 40 dead babies story that has destroyed the credibility of many people, namely Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Bobby Kennedy, Tommy Robinson, and Donald Trump, just to name a few. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's teary-eyed and sniveling speech announcing that he is a Jew is another example of overplaying it. He should have said he was an American and as such a neutral party who was trying to broker peace. Instead, he disqualified himself as an honest broker by trotting out the worn-out Holocaust canard about his family and him being in Israel as a survivor. It's more than we can say about the doomed Palestinian civilians trapped in Gaza who are unlikely to survive Israel's misplaced vengeance on innocent Palestinian women and children by turning Gaza into the parking lot Benjamin Netanyahu and mad dog Zionists so want. The Nuremberg trials established that propaganda is a war crime, no different than the genocide Israel is exacting on Palestinians in Gaza. What has come from the 40 babies fable is confirmation of who are the leading rats shilling for Israel. Before we suspected them, now they've left no doubt. Believe nothing. Question everything.